It had been only a couple of days since the incident at Maya's house. Couple of days since the sealed door. Couple of days since the whisper. And Henry hadn't slept properly since. The photo changed everything. It showed up in his mailbox in a plain white envelope. No return address, no stamp, just placed there. Inside was a printed picture of him, sleeping, in his own bed. The angle made it worse. It wasn't taken from the doorway. It was taken from inside the room, near his dresser. He didn't remember waking up. Didn't remember hearing a window open. Didn't remember footsteps. On the back of the photo, written in thick black ink, "I watch you." Since that day, Henry had been on edge. Not anxious, not paranoid. Survival mode. Every sound made him jump. The hum of his refrigerator, the pipes knocking in the walls, the upstairs neighbors shifting in their sleep. He hadn't gotten more than 2 hours of rest at a time. It was around 4 in the morning when it happened. Henry was sitting on the couch in the dark, TV off, lights off, just listening. That's when he heard it. Footsteps. Slow but heavy, walking down the hallway outside his apartment. The building was old, the wood floors creaked under pressure. You could tell when someone walked past your door. The steps stopped directly outside his apartment door. Silence. Then 3 knocks. Not frantic, not loud, controlled, measured. Henry's chest tightened. He grabbed the metal bat he'd been keeping beside him and slowly walked to the door. He pressed his eye against the peephole, seeing nothing. The hallway was empty. The lights buzzed faintly overhead. He waited 10 seconds and then 30 seconds. Nothing. Heart pounding in his ears. Henry unlocked the door and pulled it open. The hallway was completely empty, but something was lying on the floor directly in front of his door. A folded piece of paper. He bent down slowly and picked it up. 2 words in black ink. "Do you see me?" His stomach dropped. He looked left. He looked right. Nothing. He slammed the door shut, locked every bolt, and stumbled backwards. He threw the note across the room and pressed his hands against his face. This wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't paranoia. Someone was messing with him. And the only person who had a motive was Maya. Henry didn't sleep that night. By morning, his hands were shaking from exhaustion. His eyes burned. He called out of work. There was only one option left. He had to go back. He had to confront her. He told himself it would be easier during the day. No shadows, no darkness, no imagination running wild. He drove to her house late morning. Sunlight filled the neighborhood. It looked peaceful, normal. He parked 2 houses down so she wouldn't see him pull up. He approached quietly, staying near the side of the house. Through the living room window he saw her, Maya, but she looked different, calmer, softer. No unsettling stillness in her posture. She looked like the girl he met on Tinder. Henry walked to the front door and knocked. It almost opened immediately. "Hi," she said politely. "How can I help you?" Henry stared at her. Was she serious? "Stop playing games," he snapped. "Why are you coming to my apartment at night? Why are you leaving letters? I will go to the police." Confusion spread across her face, but underneath it, fear, real fear. She stepped aside quickly. "We don't have much time," she whispered. "Please come inside." Every instinct screamed trap, but he stepped inside anyway. She moved quickly into the kitchen, hands shaking as she turned on the coffee maker. Henry stayed standing. His hand stayed inside his coat pocket, gripping the only weapon he had, a small pocket knife his parents had given him for Christmas. "I don't want coffee," he said coldly. "You have 10 minutes. She turned slowly. "I know you're not going to believe me," she said quietly, "but I am not Maya." Silence fled the room. "My name is Sarah," she continued. "Maya is my twin sister. We live here together." Henry blinked. "Where is she?" "She's at the doctor." The hesitation in her voice made his stomach tighten. "She's very sick," Sarah continued. "Severe mental illness, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, explosive episodes." Henry's mind raced. "She changed at night. She doesn't sleep. She paces around. She talks to herself." She looked toward the hallway. "And when night falls, she locks me in that room at the end of the hall." Henry felt the air leave his lungs. "So you were the one in there when I came over." She nodded slowly. "Why didn't you scream?" because she would kill me if I did. Her eyes filled with tears. She lures men here, breaks them down, isolates them. The photo, Henry asked quietly. Yes. The notes, yes. She's been to your apartment. The words made his skin crawl. She wants you exhausted, paranoid, detached from your life. She grabbed his arm. You need to leave the state tonight. Why? Henry asked. Because she's decided on you. The room went quiet. She'll be home soon, Sarah whispered. She shoved him toward the door. I'm sorry, she said through tears. If you stay, you will die. Henry sat in his car for hours. Finally, he called the police. He didn't leave, he waited. Around 8 p.m., he saw her, Maya, walking toward the house from the darkness. No car, no ride, just appearing from nowhere. She entered the house. 10 minutes later, Henry heard screaming. Henry's heart dropped. The cops were on the way, but he couldn't just sit there. He ran around the house, found a basement window, forced it open, climbed inside. He moved quietly up the stairs. The screaming was coming from the hallway, and then he saw it. Maya was duct taping Sarah's wrists, dragging her towards the sealed door, knife in her other hand. This will be all over soon, she screamed. A stair creaked beneath Henry. The sound echoed like a gunshot. Maya froze, slowly turned, their eyes locked. Henry gripped the pocket knife so tightly his knuckles turned white. Maya began whispering, "He must die. No, he shouldn't. No, he must." Like two voices fighting inside one body. Then she charged towards Henry, knife raised. A gunshot exploded through the house. Maya dropped instantly. Police flooded the room, flashlights, shouting. Chaos. Henry was pulled aside. So was Sarah. He thought it was over. 2 months later, Henry moved. New apartment, new locks, security cameras everywhere, and somehow he and Sarah grew close. Shared trauma does that. They started dating, eventually moved in together. Life felt stable again. Until one Friday night, there was a knock at the door. 2 officers and a detective. They sat them down. Maya was connected to 15 murders, the detective said. All Tinder meetups, bodies buried across the property, human remains inside the walls. Sarah looked shocked. She was getting treatment, she whispered. There are no medical records, the detective replied. We don't know where she went during the day. After they left, something didn't sit right with Henry. One question kept repeating in his mind. Who did the cops shoot that night? 2 days later, Henry went to the police station alone. He requested the incident report. He read one line. Suspect deceased. Sarah Whitemore. His hands went numb. Sarah? Not Maya? The woman who died that night was the real Sarah, which meant the woman living with him was Maya. She survived, and in the chaos she identified herself as her sister. When Henry got home, she was sitting in the dark. You went somewhere, she said calmly. Not a question. You checked the report, she added softly. His chest tightened. You let her die, he whispered. She was weak, she replied flatly. Silence filled the room. You should have left the state when she told you to, she said. Her voice dropped lower. And now you can't. The lights flickered. 3 slow knocks echoed from the bedroom, not the front door, inside the apartment. She stepped closer. You weren't meant to survive, she whispered. Henry's phone buzzes on the counter. Unknown number. Do you see me?